Welcome back, everybody, to Niners Now. I'm your host, Brady Grustas, at GrustasBrady on X. You can follow me there. And in the NFL, as the saying goes, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. Today, I want to talk about whether the 49ers got better or worse this offseason. And stick around until later in the show to learn about the biggest story in the NFL that not enough people are talking about. Before we begin, subscribe down below, leave a like, leave a comment, and let's get into it. The first place that we need to look when it comes to improvements is the coaching. This one's easy, folks. It is a clear upgrade over last year in all three phases. The special teams, once again, was horrific last year and seemingly found new ways to cost the Niners games each and every week. Brian Schneider was thankfully let go and replaced with Brant Boyer, who is a respected veteran coordinator. And honestly, I'm not even asking for a good special teams unit from Brant Boyer this year. Even if we get an average one, it'll be a massive improvement over last year. Of course, Boyer came as sort of a package deal with new defensive coordinator Robert Saleh. Old defensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, old, new, whatever you want to call it. Saleh has returned to the Bay, and that's great news for fans of defense. Those fans were probably miserable watching the Niners last year. The team allowed over 100 rushing yards in 10 of their 17 games and over 90 in 2 more. When the Niners allowed under 90 rushing yards in a game last year, they were undefeated. When they allowed over 90 yards, 1-11. Sounds simple, but stopping the run helps you win games. Even if you have a talent deficit, if you can stop the run, you've got a chance in any game you play. And that was clearly a really huge focus this offseason, and it started with bringing in Saleh to replace Nick Sorensen. Offensively, Shanahan will still be calling the plays, but I'm expecting an improvement from him as well. He's had a lot more time this offseason to get creative, get in the lab, find new wrinkles, and really get this offense cooking again. Plus, the Niners have officially named an offensive coordinator for the first time since Mike McDaniel left to coach the Dolphins. It's Clay Kubiak. Kubiak, like his brother Clint, has been in the system for a really long time. And with 3 new coordinators, hopefully Kyle will be able to delegate his responsibilities and perform a lot better overall as a play caller. Either way, no matter how you slice it, I'm comfortable calling the coaching way better than last season. This is a huge improvement. Now, I want to go position by position and really break down whether each group improved, took a step backwards, or stays the same. And we're going to start with the offense, and in particular, the quarterback. This one's pretty easy. Quarterback's the same as last year. It's still Brock starting. He might improve marginally after another year as the starter, but ultimately he's pretty close to a finished product at this point. I mean, we know what he likes to do. We know his strengths and weaknesses. I am excited to watch him play with hopefully a healthier offense around him. And as for the backups, I guess you could call it a small improvement. Mac Jones probably a little bit better than Josh Dobbs and Brandon Allen, but not by a ton. And in an ideal world, we don't have to see Mac Jones play once this season. Overall, though, I'm going to call this a wash. Quarterback's the same. It's still Brock. Running backs, however, have gotten better. Christian McCaffrey's back. He's healthy. Former Offensive Player of the Year. Former 1,000 type of guy. He is back. Now, losing Jordan Mason hurts. Definitely does. I love Jordan Mason. He's a great football player, and I'm rooting for him in Minnesota, but I'm projecting some better tape and a pretty big step up from Isaac Guerendo this year. I mean, you got to remember, Guerendo was a wide receiver in high school and a very good one. He won Indiana's Mr. Football Award his senior year before he converted to running back in college. He's still clearly learning the nuances of the position, right? And I hope after spending a year at the NFL level, he can show some improved vision. I also like Jordan James a lot. I think he's ready to play a role right now. I don't think he's like a starting caliber guy. You wouldn't want to give him the full workload, but he's stocky. He's got some power. He's shifty. He's got a little bit of wiggle to him. And I'd love to see him on the field in short yardage situations, whether he's pass protecting or he gets you 3 yards on a 3rd and 1. Like, I think Jordan James could have a real role on this team. And instead of Elijah Mitchell, who could not stay healthy, you've at least got some interesting options in Corey Kiner and Izzy Abanikanda. And even if neither of those two make the 53-man roster, neither did Elijah Mitchell last year. So again, running backs are definitely better, even if it's only because of McCaffrey returning. At wide receiver, I'm going to say the Niners have remained stagnant. I don't think there was an improvement or a step back here. Obviously, there's been a lot of movement, though. We've discussed it extensively on this show. Ayuk's injury, Demarcus Robinson being added, but then maybe suspended, potential breakouts for Ricky Pearsall and Jacob Cowing, maybe Jawan Jennings getting traded, losing Debo, but that ultimately being maybe a good thing. There's a ton of moving pieces, but I think ultimately this position group is, if you add it up, about the same as it was last season, but with better upside. They might not have gotten better, but they did get younger and they got cheaper. So I'm fine with that. And I will say, Matt Mayoko did report that Brandon Ayuk is ahead of schedule with his recovery, and it's not out of the question that he'll be ready to play week 1. If he truly is ready, that would obviously be phenomenal. And even if he ends up on the PUP list and is able to return week 5, that's still ahead of the schedule that we've all been expecting for Ayuk. This would be a huge development, especially if Jawan Jennings ends up getting traded this summer. Now let's talk about tight ends. In the tight end room, Eric Saubert was swapped out for Luke Farrell. If you want to call this stagnant, I wouldn't complain about it, but I'm going to call it a small improvement. I think Farrell's more expensive, obviously, but he's younger, and I consider him a much better blocker than Saubert. Neither of them are going to give you much as a pass catcher, but I don't think that's how they'll be used in this offense. We've got enough mouths to feed in the pass game. If your backup tight end is a reliable blocker that allows you to go heavy and run the ball, or have a guy to block while Kittle runs his routes, I love it. I'm calling this a slight improvement. Now let's talk about the offensive line. Okay, the offensive line had some big changes as well. Aaron Banks got the bag from Green Bay, and it looks like the Niners are going to replace him with Ben Barch at left guard. Jalen Moore got a hefty contract as well from the Chiefs, and the Niners brought in Andre Dillard and rookie Connor Colby as the big, notable additions. So I am comfortable saying that they've gotten worse at this position group. Trent is another year older. You lose Banks and Moore, who have both had to play quite a bit for this team. Even if Dom Pooney takes a step up, I'm expecting the unit as a whole to take a step back. This offensive line is actually pretty average when you compare it to the rest of the league, which really goes to show how bad the offensive line talent is in the NFL right now. The offensive line has always been an area that the Niners like to look for bargains, at least in the Shanahan era, and I'm really curious to see how they adjust when Trent Williams retires. Because you think about it, Kyle and John inherited Joe Staley, and then they traded for Trent immediately when Staley retired. So once Trent is done, that'll be the first time in their tenure here that they haven't had an elite left tackle. Something to watch. Now let's move on to the defense. And on the defense here, I want to start with what might be the biggest talking point of the entire offseason, the defensive line. They lost Malik Collins, Javon Hargrave, and Leonard Floyd, and they brought in Mykel Williams, Alfred Collins, CJ West, and Bryce Huff. To me, this is easily an improvement. I know that there's a lot of question marks with the additions. I get that. But the D-line was a huge letdown last season. They could not stop the run, and because of that, they didn't get to rush the passer. It really stung at the time, but I understand the rationale behind cleaning house and getting a younger group and a stronger group in the room. I am expecting much improved run stuffing from this defensive line this year. Like we talked about with special teams, even an average run defense would be a big improvement on last year. I feel like some people don't understand that stopping the run effectively has such a massive ripple effect on the rest of the defense. Everything gets easier when you stop the run. Pass rush gets easier. Coverage gets easier. Blitzing gets easier. All of it. And once you can get a guy like Bryce Huff on the field opposite Bosa and really let him pin his ears back on third and longs, this pass rush could look nasty. So the D-line definitely got better this offseason, even if it took all the way until April to do so. Compared to last year, I think the Niners stayed stagnant at linebacker. Yes, we did lose Dre Greenlaw, but he played, 3/4 of football last year? He was a huge part of this team 2023 and earlier, but last year, Greenlaw was not a factor for this team at all, so I'm really not including him in this equation. Devondre Campbell, however, was banished to the shadow realm, thankfully. Hopefully never have to see that guy play football for any team again. But the guys that the Niners brought in, like Nick Martin and Luke Gifford, they're not guaranteed to be major upgrades either. Martin's got some potential as a third-round pick, but I think he's got a lot of work to do, and I would be lying if I said I wasn't worried about his size. I'm not expecting a breakout year for D. Winters either, although I'd be extremely happy if he had one. I was a huge D. Winters fan coming out of TCU. The biggest X factor for the linebacker group this season does not even play linebacker. It's Robert Saleh. He's got a long history of coaching elite linebacker play, so if there's any hope for the young guys that we have now, it lies with Saleh. At cornerback, the 49ers lost Charvarius Ward, who was fantastic for this team in 2023, but he struggled significantly last year after his off-field tragedy. Obviously, wishing Charvarius and his family all the best with the Colts. It made complete sense for him to relocate, and I hope he's incredible in Indy. That'll move Renardo Green to the full-time starting role. I thought Renardo had a promising rookie season, and I'm really excited for a potential leap this year. It wasn't perfect, but it felt like he was just half a second late on so many plays. If he can fully adjust to the speed of the NFL game in year 2, I can totally see him making lots of plays this year for the 49ers. This team also signed former Seahawk Trey Brown to be a depth or cornerback 3 option. He's fine. He dealt with some injuries in his career, but he's a decent player. He's physical. A jump from Renardo Green, adding Trey Brown, and adding feisty rookie Upton Stout in the slot is enough for me to feel confident in this group, overcoming the loss of Charvarius Ward and being better this year for the 49ers. Now last, and maybe least, we got to talk about the safety room. The 49ers will likely be missing Malik Mustafa to start the season. Mustafa was excellent his rookie year, and I was super excited to watch him play his second year, but a torn ACL in week 18 of last year is going to slow his development down quite a bit. The Niners also saw All-Pro Talanoa Hufanga signed with the Denver Broncos, and while yes, he did deal with injuries, he was a starting caliber player when he was on the field. After Jair Brown really disappointed last year, to me, both starting safety spots are wide open, at least until Mustafa comes back. To fill those spots, the Niners brought in 3 safeties this offseason: Jason Pinnock and Richie Grant in free agency, and Marcus Siegel in the draft. I'm fairly high on Pinnock's chances at succeeding here, but with both him and Grant, you're gambling on a low-end starter becoming a high-end starter, which is obviously not a guarantee. Siegel has good tools, and he seemed like a really smart player, but I'm not ready to call him an impact player his rookie season. I think he'll need development, and I think he'll need coaching. I also think that losing Hufanga and replacing him with multiple risky swings, plus losing Mustafa to begin the year, it means that the safety room has pretty comfortably gotten worse this offseason, and I think this might be the worst unit on the entire team. In total, the Niners got worse at offensive line and safety. They improved their coaching, running backs, tight ends, defensive line, and cornerbacks, and at QB, wide receiver, and linebacker, they stayed roughly the same. Overall, that is an improvement in my opinion. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments down below. Are the Niners better this year than they were last year? You tell me. I think yes. You may think no. I'd be happy to have a discussion about it. Before I want to wrap up for today, though, I want to talk to you guys about a story that you may have missed so far in this offseason. Every year after the draft, the rookies sign their rookie contracts, which are all 4-year deals that are usually relatively cheap. Being drafted in the first round has a lot of advantages, and one of those advantages is that first-rounders usually get their contracts fully guaranteed. Now, that's not a league requirement, but agents over the years have built up this custom and earned a lot of guaranteed money for their clients. For example, Ricky Pearsall's rookie contract is fully guaranteed. Now, on May 8th of this year, Texans rookie wide receiver Jaden Higgins signed a fully guaranteed rookie contract, making him the first second-round pick in league history to have a fully guaranteed deal. The next day, May 9th, Browns rookie linebacker Carson Schwessinger signed his rookie deal, which was also fully guaranteed. It makes sense. Schwessinger and Higgins were the first and second picks in the second round. They went 33rd and 34th overall, respectively. However, Everyone else picked in the second round is still unsigned, including 49ers rookie D tackle Alfred Collins. There has not been a single signing since May 9th for second rounders. That's over 2 months. It seems like teams have a really clear line on who deserves fully guaranteed deals and who does not. Agents, of course, seem to disagree, but this issue is essentially only affecting the second round picks. If you don't count those second rounders who have yet to sign, there are only 3 rookies out of over 200 who have not signed their deals. Meanwhile, 30 out of the 32 second rounders are still unsigned. Training camp is getting closer, and with still no resolution on a lot of these deals, we may see some pretty long holdouts. It's something to watch not only with Collins and the 49ers, but across the league. Because I think once a few second rounders start to agree on deals, I think it'll be a domino effect, and I think they'll all start to sign really, really quickly. So what do you think? Did the 49ers get better? Are they worse? Do you think second round picks deserve fully guaranteed contracts? Leave a comment, leave a like, and let me know if there's any topics you'd like to see me cover. Thank you all for watching, and subscribe for 49ers videos 5 days a week. I'm Brady Grustas, at Grustas Brady on X. This has been Niners Now, and I'll see you tomorrow.